Hi, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Elena Peaches. I am the Partner Success Manager at Gmetrics, and I am joined today by my colleague, Bria Jones with Bulb Digital Portfolios. We are just so excited to have everyone here and have a chance to speak to you about getting started with Bulb. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Bria to tell you more and all about it.
Thanks, Elena. Hey, everybody. I'm excited to be here with you today. I know that some of you all are taking a part of our classroom pilot this spring. So excited for you to get your students started with portfolios. And I know that I have some of you guys who may have used Bulb in the past and just needed a refresher and wanting to get their students' portfolios started for this year. So you've come to the right place. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes just walking through those basic features of how to get your students started in their portfolios. And we will send out all of these resources afterwards as well. And then you can always reach out to me if you have questions. So to get us started, just a reminder, if you're new to Bulb, what is Bulb? What are we trying to accomplish with these portfolios? And it really is this ultimate digital showcase. It is this place where your students and yourselves can exhibit your best work. You can highlight skills, document growth from your academic journey. It's an incredible place for you to bring that evidence of your story and be able to tell that unique story. And why is this important? And so, from a reflective practice in education, that act of curating with intention, the evidence of your learning, putting that in a portfolio, and then when it comes to being that future ready, that research shows that people want to know how those skills in real life. What does it look like? How did you actually do it? How do you be able to really help yourself stand out? And you do that through a portfolio that has evidence of your work and in a great dynamic way that be able to tell your story. So I think it's really helpful to look at Bulb through the eyes of an actual portfolio. On our website, we have lots of examples, and in this slide deck, I have a few of my favorites that are linked to, but I'm going to start with Jamila's portfolio here. And you'll see this is the landing page of her portfolio. It really showcases what we call collections. Those are these tiles that you see. Collections are like an organizational structure. Think about it as like a binder. It's by theme, so you could create collections for anything you want, each individual class, a particular value, maybe it's a soft skill, or you have a portrait of a graduate concept where you're trying to capture some of those key values or things that your students have. So you can create collections and organize it in any way that you want. The platform is fully customizable in terms of drag and drop, so it's easy to reorganize. And then all of these images that you see here, this helps students be able to personalize the portfolio really easily, showing some of their personality, and they can customize that and change it over time as well. So let's dive into this academics collection. In here you see sub collections. So these are all the different classes that she has. And if I open up that engineering collection, this is pages. So pages is where you actually put the evidence of the work that you're doing. The page is where you're creating, you're adding text and videos and images. So you'll notice here, this is a gear project, and the student had taken a video of their project, uploaded it directly to the site. Videos can be embedded from other sites as well, but also directly uploaded. Our image carousel that we'll go through, it's a great way to show process of a particular project that students are doing. And in this case, there's a little reflection, a little bit of context to what this project was all about. I think that's really important as students are building their portfolios, that they're putting in that context and that reflection. Why is this added to my portfolio? What was the project's purpose? What was some of the constraints or challenges? How does this showcase my skills? And so those are really helpful part of adding that to your page as well. We can look at another example, say these multimedia project one. Again, this is a page where the student is typing right directly in the page and bringing in some screenshots, showcasing the video that they created for their 3D animation class, and is able to upload it directly onto the platform. Our students create in lots of different places, so they can create and do projects directly on Bulb. We have a presentation mode as well where they could present directly from their portfolio. Or if they're creating on a different platform, then they can bring it into Bulb. If they've created documents that are in Google Drive or OneDrive, they can easily bring those in. And other specialty applications, Adobe products, maybe they're doing AutoCAD, coding as well. All of those can be brought in to their portfolio so they can really tell their story. Some other things that are popular in adding to the portfolio: community service, clubs and organizations, all those future ready skills as well in terms of internships or work-based learning activities. Those are great things to put in their portfolio. And it's always great to have some kind of about me page. We have lots of templates in Bulb that can guide students on adding all this content to their portfolio, or templates that you can use as a teacher and pass on to your students too. In this case, the students using the audio file, they can just record audio directly from any device and brings voice to the page, and then talks a little bit about their past, some of their present, and then has a nice little piece about what they see for the future and some fun facts. So in addition to the portfolio view where they're collecting the evidence, they're telling that story, each portfolio also comes with a resume view. And what's really neat about this resume is that the students can create this resume directly on Bulb and link in content directly from their portfolio onto the resume. So we're viewing the resume as it would have been shared out if I was an employer or a college admissions staff viewing this resume. I can look at it, and now it's come to life. It's become more interactive for me. I can go, oh, I really want to see a little bit more about that oral health presentation they did for their internship. And I go directly to that page. They have the presentation uploaded, and I can read just a little bit more depth of what they were doing in those experiences that I'm most interested in. So the resume is really like an additional view to showcasing some of the work from the portfolio, and it can be really powerful for our students. I know we didn't have a ton of time to look at examples, but again, we have a lot on our website and in the slide deck. I also have examples for how educators use Bulb as their own professional portfolios. We have hundreds and hundreds of educators out there that are capturing their own learning and growth through their portfolio. So we don't have a ton of time, so I want to get to the most important piece, and that's how you start implementing this into your classroom. So for those of you who use Geometrics and your students are used to logging into the Geometrics platform and you're doing that classroom pilot or you've purchased Bulb, it's very easy for them to be able to access their Bulb accounts. You're either going to click on Classrooms or the access code. When you click on Classrooms, there's a content area that you're probably familiar with. And then there's a little toggle right here that says Enable Bulb Portfolio. So you can turn this on for your group of students. And once you turn it on, when the students sign in, they will sign in into their Geometrics portal. And on the left-hand nav, they'll see their Bulb portfolio here. And when they click on that, it will sign them in and launch them into their own account. So it's very easy to be able to give them access and allow them to be able to sign in. If you are not using Geometrics and you have any questions about how your students access it, I know a lot of our customers might use a ClassLink portal or maybe a single sign-on with Google, depending on how your school is set up. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any clarifications in terms of how your students will sign into their accounts. The other great thing to know about these accounts is that Bulb goes with the student. I think when they're building a portfolio, that's such an important thing to emphasize with them. As they're creating it, the way we have them log in and set up just makes it easy to use within the school environment. But this is their own portfolio. So when they leave your class or your school, they can always put in a personal email address through their settings, and they can access Bulb on their own outside of the school. So once they leave your class or the school, their portfolio and on their all their content, they still get full access to all of that. They have that going forward no matter what on our free platform. And then say they're going on to college and they're wanting to add even more content that then they've created within your school. They can then subscribe for an individual subscription on their own. And currently right now, that's $1 a month if they're still a student and $2 a month if they're not a student anymore. And so it's really easy. They have full access to everything they've created. And then if they want to continue to add more, they can do that really easily as well. We also have a lot of really great features that help this portfolio be a professional standalone portfolio while also functioning really well within the schools. So we have integrations, our data privacy, our custom share settings, and some assignment features as well. So what does this look like from a teacher-student workflow? We get our students logged in, and then let's look at a few of Bulb's core features that help you make this really easy to use within your classroom. And that's through groups and templates and sharing. So I'm going to click over to my teacher account. This is Miss Berg here, and she is signed in. You notice that because she has her name in blue in the upper right-hand corner. And she has portfolio content down here. But this hamburger menu, that 3-line menu in the upper right-hand corner, this drop down reveals a lot of great features. So when you click that hamburger menu and move all the way over to the left, there is a group feature here. When you click on groups, if you haven't used Bulb before, you may not see any groups right here. Groups are similar to classes. And I'm going to show you a couple of the core functionalities of what you can do with groups. Inside your group, you have a members tab. So this could be all of your students that you have in your first period class. What's really nice about this members tab is if I want to go check on a portfolio for Omar, I can go click on Omar's name and it's going to take me to Omar's portfolio and I see everything within Omar's portfolio. It allows me to be able to easily access any of my students' portfolio content from things that are done in my class and things that they've added maybe in other classes as well, because we have a lot of Bulb users where students are using this throughout their education and all of their different classes. So that members tab is really nice to be able to have a quick link to view your students' portfolios. When you create a class, you can invite members to your class by just copying and pasting. If you have a spreadsheet of all your students' emails, you just copy that column of all 30 emails, paste it in there. They've all been added to your class. You can also give out this join code. And so if the students come up here, they'll click on join group, add that code, and they'll be a member of your class. And if you use Google Classroom, we also have a Google Classroom sync where you can import all of those students from your Google Classroom as well, and it will automatically add all those members to your class. So several easy ways to be able to create your class groups. So we talked about members and creating the groups. The second piece is content. So think about this as a digital bulletin board. All the members within this group can share content from their portfolio into this group space. So any member of the group would be able to see this content. Any member is allowed to share within this group space. Why would you use this? A great example would be each of your students are researching a different career, and you want all the students to be able to see the different careers that were researched by their classmates. They'd create that page in Bulb, maybe even from a starter template that you gave them. And then they would share that page to this group space, and anyone within that group can then go view all the different careers that the students researched. It's a great way to be able to create that sharing space among students, but it doesn't have to be used within the group space. There's also an assignment section in here. So we allow to support assignments within Bulb. I talked about those templates, so I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to click the Bulb logo. That's my big tip. If you're ever looking at other content and you're signed into Bulb and you want to get back to your Bulb homepage, you click that Bulb logo and it takes you right back to your homepage. So imagine I am doing an assignment with my students, and we're having them do a career plan. So as a teacher, I create an assignment page for them. This is what we call a template. I'm giving them the outline of the work that I want them to do. They're going to research some short-term and long-term goals, what education is required for that career, create a couple examples. And so I've created this page. And now I want to assign it to my students. So I first start by, in the triple dots, making this a template. I'm going to toggle template on. So first you're going to create the page in your portfolio, or copy a page in from our library as a starting place and then make some tweaks. But you're going to have a page in your portfolio. You're going to go to your triple dots and toggle the template on. Notice there's this use template there now. And then if you use the Bulb Assign feature, you're going to click Assign. And notice it pulls up all of my groups. So if you have one of your classes, you can say, create a new assignment. It will automatically title it for you. You can add to it if you want, and you click on Assign. And some magic just happened right there. A copy of this career plan template was just copied onto all of your students' portfolios that was in that class group. So you now push that assignment to all of your students. And when your students sign in, I'll move to my student account. If Omar signs into his portfolio and he scrolls down, we do a lot of tests in here. Notice that career plan lives right within his portfolio. He can drag and drop it into a collection and organize it in any way that he wants. And then this is his copy. So he can come in here and start adding content. He can add images, videos, files, audio. There's lots of options of the types of content that he's adding in here. Once he's completed this assignment, he just simply clicks Submit. We get a little celebration of some confetti. And then if I go back to my teacher perspective, if I want to go look at all the assignments that have been submitted, I can go back to my groups and click on assignments, and notice there's a career plan collection that was created in my assignments. I have 11 students in the class. One of my students have turned it in. If I open this up, this is a teacher only view. I get to see all the assignments that are submitted. So if I had multiple students submit, I would see all their tiles here. The other students can't see each other's work in this. When they submit that assignment, they're submitting it just directly to the teacher. And so when I open up that career plan, I'm taken directly to Omar's assignment page. I can leave him comments. And then if I had more students that submitted, there'd be a next button down here, and I'd click next, and I could go view and grade and leave comments for all of those students' assignments. We also have integrations with different learning management systems as well. So we have a similar template, pushing a template out through Google Classroom, or you could set it up through Canvas in Schoology. And you can go to our Bulb library and get all of the information on how to do that, or reach out to me and I'd be happy to send you any of those resources. So a great thing to understand about our resources, if you go to our triple line menu in the upper right-hand corner, more here, this is where you find the settings. So this is where those students can add that personal email address to take Bulb with them. And right underneath that is the Resource Center. So in our Resource Center here, you'll notice that we highlight certain templates each month. So those will change out each month depending on what might be most relevant. We have a Start Here guide for your classroom. I'll also point out right now we're running an annual portfolio competition. The deadline's May 1st. So if you haven't gotten information about this, go to your resource center or ask me. We have all the details about the competition, templates that help guide your students, examples of all of those pages, and I encourage your students to participate and win prizes through that challenge. And we also have an integrations collection here. So if you want to know what's the workflow for Google Classroom, or what does that look like in Canvas, all of those types of integrations, we have videos and help documentation to show you exactly what that looks like for the learning management system that you use. So I know we're going through this quickly, but just to recap, we have, we are working on knowing how to get our students logged in. We can set up those class groups so you can have easy visibility with your students. You can use those templates to create assignments for students to help guide them in the kinds of things that they're adding to their portfolios. I'll also tell you that if you don't want to use a template, students can easily come in here and create a brand new page. So it doesn't have to start with a template. They can say my writing, and they can start adding whatever you've instructed them to do to add to their portfolio. They can do it from a blank page as well, just as easily as they can from that template. And then when they're done, they just click on share. And this is how they can share it back with you, depending on how you want them to turn it in. So they could copy this link and share this particular page out. Maybe they need it for a scholarship and they're sharing it, or maybe they're just sharing it with you and they're turning that in and posting that in Schoology for a Schoology assignment. Or maybe in this case, you do want them to share with that class group for everyone to see. They could pick their group there as well. So pages have sharing permissions, their collections have sharing permissions, and then they can share their portfolio as well. As we wrap up, I'm going to leave a few minutes for questions, but I wanted to show you this last screen. When your students create their portfolios, one of the things that we have found is that giving them a little bit of guidance and inspiration in terms of the kinds of things they should be adding to their portfolios is really, really helpful in creating that high impact portfolio. And so when they log into their account for the very first time, they'll receive this modal called Design Made Simple. You probably would have seen this modal as well. And there are a few collections here that they can copy into their portfolio to help guide them into the kinds of things that they might want to add. Each collection has a handful of template pages that they can use and complete, and everything is fully customizable. They can change out the cover images. They can change out the name of the collections. They can delete things they don't want. They can delete pages that they don't want. It's just really a helpful guide for them. And so I always like to tell teachers about this because it's really nice for teachers to instruct the students. Do you want them to copy these templates on first login and click copy? Or do you want them to skip that because you're going to guide them into what collections you want them to create? So just note that that's available. And These collections, if you're curious about what's in them, are in the resource library under Design Made Simple, starter templates, and you can go see exactly what's inside all of these different collections if you want to guide your students in that as well. And they're always accessible for those that didn't have them copied or access into them. All right. I want to leave a few minutes for any kinds of questions. Elena, do we have any questions?
Right now, I'm not seeing any in the chat. So this would be a great opportunity if anyone does have any questions to let us know, and you can throw them right there in that question box or in the chat section. Either will work for us. And as you're doing that, I did want to let this group know I am throwing in a few resources into the file section of this webinar, so you can go look at those if you would like as well.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
And feel free as you're going along, if you need any help, you can email us at help@bullbap.com. And again, Elena and her team does a really great job of sharing out those resources that we went over today so that you'll have the slide deck with all the different examples and steps for all the things that we worked through today.
Great. There are no questions coming in. You did a good
Well,
job explaining everything.
that's good. Hopefully this was helpful in helping you get started. I hope to see your students participate in the portfolio challenge. There is an educator category too, so if you want to be building your portfolio and submit for that as well, you win some prizes, and reach out to us if you have any questions.
Great. Well, thank you, Bria, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.